me start the recording. So, fellow Toastmaster, honored guest, welcome to our second meeting of the month of May. A usual meeting and an unusual meeting. This is the meeting once a year where we will do what we call the annual General Assembly meeting, but most importantly, we will go and look at the election of a new set of club officers to take over the officer role as of the 1st of July and until for 1 year starting on the 1st of July. And I would like to see if Tom is here, and Tom is just arriving. I see him in the lobby, and voila, Tom is joining us, and he has been actually running the list and trying to find a list of candidates that would be interested to take officers' roles in the club. So I propose I will start with a very short segment on this AGM, and then we will go through the normal business of our meeting today. And I will make it very smooth and very quick so we can also go and benefit from the two speeches and the table topics. But before I do that, we have a little tradition is that we're welcoming our guests. And I think we have a guest. I saw her, Daniela Eitrich, there you are on my screen. And a tradition that we have for our guests, they have to briefly introduce themselves, say something where they heard about us, why they came to this meeting. And then at the end of the meeting, I'll ask you the feedback on that. So Daniela, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hello, everybody. My name is Daniela. I'm invited by Gordana. Unfortunately, I'm not working at your building, so I'm working for, as I told some of you before, I'm working for ORF. I'm editing the news. So she told me about this amazing group, and I thought it may be a very good opportunity to practice my English again and listening if I could join obviously some other groups, because I think I can't join yours. But I'm very excited to be here and listening to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Very good, Daniela, to have you on board. And I understand we also have David, who is also a guest to our meeting. If easy.
Yes. Good afternoon, dear Toastmasters, dear guests. Some of you already know me. My name is David Agudelo Romero, and I was invited by Karen Lucatero and Julia Vera Araujo. This is my third session as a guest. Yeah, I'm very looking forward to be here.
Thank you very much, David, and we're very happy to have you back. So let's start with a little business that we have to do regarding the appointment of new club officer, and then I will turn very briefly to Brigitte to give us a quick update on the treasury situation. So, but for that, I would like to turn to Toastmaster Tom, who was the president of our club until the 30th of June last year, and he has been running a process to find and to listen to what member states were proposing or nominating as candidates to take a club officer's role. And I understand, Tom, that you have a list of names to put forward for all the club roles, and I would like you to invite you to list your club name, and then would like to hear if there's other people who would like to have proposing candidates, because it's always possible at the last minute. And then if not, we will endorse the list proposed. So I turn it over to you, Toastmaster Tom, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. So yes, today we have a special meeting. We have the AGM in contrast to the ESC, which already was on Saturday. For those that by chance watched it, it was the Eurovision Song Contest. Now we have our AGM, Annual General Meeting, lovely abbreviations all together. And we already have a set of candidates. They were nominated, and I will present it. So basically for president, we have Toastmaster Melanie Feitzinger. For vice president education, we have Toastmaster Maria Teresa. For vice president membership, we have Toastmaster Ines. For Vice President Public Relations, we have Toastmaster Nicole. For club secretary, we have Toastmaster Gordana. For treasurer, we have myself. And for sergeant at arms, we have Rena. So I hope you were able to remember all these candidates. If not, I can try to share my screen. Let me see if this will work somewhere to have it in a maybe readable version. Let me see. What should I then share? Okay, let's share this one. I will just share a window. Share. Okay. Can you see the email there?
We can.
Yes, we can. Okay. So here we have the nominations. And now there are two important questions. One is that I think I can already tell you that we have a quorum, which means we have more than half of our active members. And the second very important question is if there are other nominations from the floor right now. I think you can use the chat to propose yourself, to propose somebody else that is not yet on this list. Any motions, anything, any voices? I don't hear anything, but that's not so important in this environment. I have to look at the chat. Anything on the chat? No, no, probably not. Well, then we will go ahead for having enough time and space also for the regular meeting and the fun we will have with, let's say, also the table topics. I will then propose these nominations. I will put a motion to accept all those put forward in this nomination slate. And yeah, and I think we will do it all at once. So I propose all those Toastmasters for the new period 21-22 to have these functions as written down here. Yes, how will we do the action?
Can someone just second the motion? Because I also nominated some of
them.
the
I need a second motion. Yes.
Can I second the motion?
Thank you, Edot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Edot.
So
now we will come to the actual election. So I guess who is not in favor should let us know. Let's put it this way. So anyone that objects this proposal?
I move, Thomas, that we vote on the slate of candidates proposed. I make a motion that we already take our vote.
Kristen already did. You can second it. It was already seconded as well.
Excellent.
So let's raise. So basically, who vote in favor, raise their hands. How do you want to do it?
We can do a vote too.
Well, but just in a matter, there's only one candidate for every position. So let's raise the hands if you are.
Okay, so you raised the hand. So I have to scroll then through the screen and see that all hands are raised. Okay, very well. So yes, one more here. So I see many raised hands. Otto, you don't raise your hand.
Oh, it's still a democracy, huh?
Okay, so well, but from what I see is we have a clear majority of votes there, which means that this proposal is accepted and we have a new set of club officers for the new period. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tom, for leading this process. Obviously, we're interested in anyone who's willing to participate and join the officer of the club to take a role, even an informal role at the beginning. I think it's a great opportunity for you to better participate and see the activity of the club, but also to engage yourself more from that perspective. So if you're interested, please welcome. Many of our longstanding members have been taking roles for quite some time. And while we will organize a proper handover, that was just the election, we will organize a proper handover at the end of the second meeting of June, where we will basically hand over and do a little ceremony to hand over the roles to the new teams. And at that ceremony, Birgit will provide us an update. She can provide a quick update on the treasury situation, but then it's important that you clear the financial situations up to the end of June, so you give a proper plate for the treasurer Tom that's going to take it over. Before handing over you the floor, Toastmaster Breguet, I would like to thank you for more than 11 or 10 or 11 years of being the treasurer of the club. And this is all these twice a year payments that you have to do. And it's an immense amount of work that if you look over the duration of this, prepare financial statements or some kind of reporting at the end. And I see on my screen, you see it next to Alois, who I think was the previous treasurer. And he looks concerned, but apparently he was. And so we're very happy that you've taken this role. I know you have asked to try to leave this role quite some time ago. And I'm very thankful for Tom to take this role now, because it's a role which is you're holding the purse. So over to you, Toastmaster Breguet, just to say a few words on how much do we have in the purse?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tristan. It's just a quick overview of what we have on our bank account statement. We started end of July 2020 with assets of 3,634.70 euros. Currently, we have on our bank account assets of 3,723.31 euros. From this, there will be still about 160 euros deducted for the transfer of membership dues to Toastmasters International, which have to be reimbursed. So I did just today transfer, and until I have the Visa card invoices, I cannot reimburse those dues to myself. Actually, the number of members has not changed much. We had, by the end of July, 28 paid members. As of today, we have 27 paid members. Our only income currently, also due to the COVID-19 situation, is from the membership fees. That means the difference between the amount we charge you as member. These are 8 euros per month. But we have to transfer to Toastmasters International $7.5 per month. And you can imagine, based on the current exchange rate, there is not much left for the club. So we also did not have many expenses. That means what we count as expenses are the transfer of the dues portion to Toastmasters International. Then also we have to pay on a quarterly basis fees for the bank account, which is approximately per quarter 23 euros as turnover dependent fee. Then also for the booking fee, we have around 17 euros, and for the cards, 2.51 euros. So these fees vary from quarter to quarter, depending how many transactions we have. The other expenses which occurred during this period are for the Zoom meetings. This is about 17 euros per month. And also some expenses normally for social events. This year we only had some expenses for the end of the year chocolates, and we also supported a club by our donation of 100 euros and so on. So all in all, currently our finances are more or less stable, because we do not have many, or we did not have many expenses, but also our income is very, very, very low, as you see from our membership fees, because there is almost no difference between what we charge you and what we have to pay to Toastmasters International. So the detailed report you will get, as Tristan already mentioned, by middle of June, with the financial report, which we have to provide to VIC, to the VIC-based recognized clubs management. And yeah, what else? Yeah, sometimes it's a challenging task to get the membership fees from all of you. But all in all, it's yeah, it's not bad to have this function. And I'm very glad that Tom will take it over, because I think it's really high time for somebody else to take over this function in the club. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Birgit, and our treasurer, for the amount of work you've done and the listing of that. And you're lucky we haven't asked the general elevator who will be the accountant, because I sense there were quite some puns in your house. You will listen to the recording and you will find us. But there's enough money on the bank account to pay for it.
Yeah, this is also part of our income, which we are missing now because we don't have the so our piggy bank.
So thank you very much for that. And in interest of time, I'll move forward. I understand that Alois has not received his chocolate box, so I'll have to find a solution for you. But I'll find a solution. And on that note, I don't think there's a Toastmaster of the day, so I'll do it. I will turn over to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Monica, just to briefly introduce.
Excuse me, I have a point of order. I think there are two questions. At least there's a question on my part, but I think there are questions on the floor.
Go ahead. So, Toastmaster Nicole.
But I think Julia wanted to say something, or she had her hand raised. No.
And Ines has also.
No, sorry, I don't know why my hand is raised, but I didn't touch anything on purpose. Okay. Thank you. Let me lower hand now. Okay.
Okay, I do not have a question for the treasurer, but I do have a remark, and that is that some of you were not in the club yet, but I don't remember, a number of years ago, it may be 3, it may be 4, there was an increase at the international level of the fees. And because we are in a privileged position in the UN, since we don't pay any rent, it was decided by the ExCom that there was not going to be any increase in the club. And I think that has to be, said again. I understand that now there's very little margin between what we give and what we receive. I guess it also depends on the exchange rate. So the question to the executive committee is, do we have enough to go on without increasing the fees? Because we have a big cushion in my view. So right now, there's not much difference between what we receive and what we give. But I think personally that there's no need to raise the fees. That was my remark. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nicole. Any other questions before we turn to the general evaluator? So thank you. On that, we move now immediately to Toastmaster Monica to introduce her team.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm the general evaluator today, so you know my role consists in evaluating the conduct of the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I will provide a report. Giving feedback is one of the essential elements of the Toastmasters meeting, so I see my role as a very important role, and I cannot do this evaluation duties alone, so I have a team who will help me in completing that. First, I want to announce the evaluators. We have today 2 speeches, so we have 2 evaluators. Our first evaluator is Toastmaster Melanie, who will be evaluating Toastmasters Gordana. Our second evaluator today is Toastmasters Nicole, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Maria Teresa. The rest of my meeting, I will just quickly announce them because I think there is no need to explain the rules. We have an accountant today who is Karen. Here, I see Karen. We have a grammarian today who is Toastmaster Suman. Can you please raise your hand? Great, thank you. We have a timekeeper today who is Toastmaster Essen. Can you please raise your hand, Essen? Great, thank you. And we have a ballot counter who is going to be me. I'm going to count the ballots today. I would just ask my team, I would also do it, to put their names next to put their roles next to the names so that it's clear for everybody who has which role. I give the word back to our Toastmaster of today, Toastmaster Tristan.
And I give back the word.
Excuse me, I have a point of
for the
order.
word of the
Excuse
day.
me. Yes, sir. That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Toastmaster Suman, the word
Yes.
of the day.
Yeah. Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, as grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any misuses of the English language, as well as outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day today is reset, which means restore, restart, or reestablish. An example of using this word is meditation resets our minds, or a vacation is an ideal reset for everybody. So I will give the word of the day report and grammatical usage report when I'm called upon in the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for your word, Toastmaster Suman. You have very eloquently presented this. So thank you very much for this. So I would like now to turn to our first speech, which will be a speech done by Gordana, which will be her first speech. But before I introduce her, I would like to turn to our evaluator, Toastmaster Melanie, who's going to evaluate Gordana's speech to give us the present, what we are expected as of this first speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Melanie.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan, our Toastmaster of the day. I am here to evaluate Gordana, who happens to be my mentee. And she, by default, is on the pathway called Presentation Mastery. I'm not sure if she chose that herself or the system chose it for her. But when she prepares for an icebreaker, it really is just her way to introduce herself to the club and to learn the basic structure of public speaking. It is her first speech. I know she's quite nervous, but I'm sure she's going to be dynamite. The speech length is between 4 and 6 minutes, and the speech title is Against All the Odds. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Melanie. So here we are. First speech, Toastmaster Gordana. Against all odds. Against all odds. Toastmaster Gordana.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, who happen to be one of them, my friend. I'm glad you could come, Danny. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here today and being able to listen to my presentation. What does it take to make a decision for your life that it's completely against all your odds? I'm not sure, honestly, how to answer this question, but I will give you an example of my life when I made a very good decision to move to Austria against all the odds. It was mid-May in 2017. I received a letter that it said, "Congratulations, you have been accepted to the University of Graz." As soon as I just read that, I didn't even follow through. My hands started shaking. My stomach completely flipped 365 degrees, or at least it felt like it. Half of my legs, I really couldn't feel at all. I was trying to yell my sister's name so that she can come and see the message, but somehow my voice was gone as well. it was a kind of an excitement that overtook my body and I couldn't even react. It was a great excitement, and I knew that soon I will be packing my bags and moving to Austria. Now, this is not a type of an excitement that an 18-year-old gets when they're moving out from their apartment for the first time, from their family place of living for the first time. A time when, you know, it's somehow related or supported by the parents as well, financially or in any other way. It's a bit different because I was in DC, in Washington, DC. I was 29 years old. I was climbing the corporate ladder in the speed of light. I had a wonderful job. I worked with amazing people around me. And just 6 months before I received this letter, I started working on a project in Washington, DC, where it was supposed to last for at least a decade. A project that it would improve the city on the social, economic, environmental scale. A historical project. I loved my supervisor. I didn't want to leave this place necessarily. At the same time, my finances didn't look very well. I had very little savings, and I was thinking of using my retirement fund to do this life so that I can afford this life in Austria. Try having that conversation with your parents, telling them that you want to use your retirement funds at the age of 30 for education in a country where you don't speak the language and where you're in the middle of your wonderful career and you're actually trying to change your career path, I guess, because it's a different field that I wanted to learn. So against all these odds, somehow in that moment when I read the message, I decided this is what I want to do. This is not only exciting, but this is what my inner voice, my intuition is telling me is the right decision to do. It is against all the possible rational part of your brain. I had to pitch all of these things and sell this idea to my parents, to my close friends, because everybody was staring at me like, are you sure? Are you sure? Have you really thought about it twice? I mean, you're in a very good position right now here. And yes, I was very sure because I always wanted to go to Europe back for a master's degree. I didn't know when and I didn't know how. And I honestly started the process very late of applying or looking to areas where I want to go. But I knew this was the right decision. And these kind of moments, I think, are not so often. They don't often happen in our life. This is not like an everyday kind of decisions when we are so sure and we listen to our intuition and our inner voice. But the most important decisions usually are very much related or somehow connected to our inner selves. We just have to listen to our intuition, to what is really inside and what do we really want out of this. It is somehow a restoring moment for me when I decide to take this risky approach. It was a very risky decision-making process because I knew there were so many odds against it. However, I decided to follow my intuition. As you can imagine, I'm very happy with that decision. It was one of the best decisions I have made in my life. Now, that doesn't mean my life here, it's all like pink flowers or pink glasses and cocktails, if you know what I mean. No, not at all. Being a student at the age of 30, it's not as easy as you think it might be. It's quite challenging. Life here, also learning German and making new friends and going through very different kind of obstacles, you know, they're all challenging. It's not as smooth as one would think. But again, against all the odds, it was the right decision to make. And I'm very happy for it. So I just want to ask you, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, are you willing to go against all the odds? Are you willing to follow your inner guts and intuition? Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gordana. What a start, what a call for action. And I will now ask our fellow Toastmasters to take 1 minute, and I'll ask the timer to count for it, to use the chat functionality, send a private message to Gordana, and give her feedback. That's our call of action. So express your view and write to Gordana. Eshan, 1 minute. One minute is over. So now we'll turn to our second speaker. And our second speaker is a veteran speaker, long established founder of the club. And to introduce Maria Teresa and the objective of her speak, I would like to turn to also one of our very experienced Toastmaster here is Toastmaster Nicole. So Toastmaster Nicole, introduce please the objective of Maria Teresa's speech.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. What I will do is that I will read out because of my bad memory. So I'm going to tell you what path Maria Teresa has chosen, not the speaking mastery, but another path, which is called persuasive influence. And that's what it's all about. This path helps you, I mean the Toastmaster, build skills as an innovative communicator and leader. The projects on this path focus on how to negotiate a positive outcome together with building strong interpersonal communication and public speaking skills. Each project emphasizes developing leadership skills to use in complex situations, as well as creating innovative solutions to challenges. This path culminates in a high performance leadership project, which has to be designed by Maria Teresa herself. So as you see, this path is not so much on speaking, but on leadership. Now, let me give you what Maria Teresa, of the purpose of the speech today. So the purpose of the speech today is for Maria Teresa to present a speech on any topic she wants, to receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. So the purpose of this speech is for the member to present that's a repetition, to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. So she can receive feedback from all of you and feedback from me. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nicole, for your introduction. Before I just formalize the introduction of Toastmaster Maria Teresa, I would like her to test her share screen, if it works, because I think she wants to use that in her speech.
Can you see my screen?
We see your folders.
Okay, perfect.
We see all your files.
Big brother.
Yeah.
Can I have my introduction, please?
So
I put it in easy speak. I put it in easy speak.
I saw the title, but I don't see the note. But
Click on the edit button. Click on the edit button for the introduction.
I'm not sure where you.
Okay, if you allow, I just wanted to let my Toastmasters know that I delivered this speech in a capacity that was quite unusual for me. I represented my other Toastmaster club, Vox Fortis from Bratislava, and I competed in the international speech contest at the district level.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
So that gives the context. So Toastmaster Maria Teresa, it's great to hear you. I would love to hear you more often. So I was very pleased to see you today on the agenda, and we're very all excited to listen to you. And without any ado, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, technology, either you love it or you hate it. Technology, either you love it or hate it. Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Love it or hate it. Technology, either you love it or hate it. Maria Teresa Savic.
Mr. Contest Chair, do you really think that me, Maria Teresa, is going to say in the year 2021, I hate technology? And that you should go and live like you did hundreds of years ago? No! I'm just going to say, maybe you should think a little bit about how technology is changing your life. And it's changing your life very quickly. My way of thinking, it's so fast, too fast. I know, I've lived it. I started working with computers before many of you were born. And back in those days, when we talked about windows, we were talking about thin panes of glass that we used to look out our windows. And mice were little creatures running in the field. But nowadays, they have a totally different meaning. Let me tell you about myself. I was the solitary female working in a group of very technical males. There were 7 of us all in all. And I was the only one that didn't have an engineer preceding my name. We would have group meetings every week, and these gentlemen would drop all the numbers and the capacity and all of the techie terms. And I would sit still, and I wouldn't say anything. I knew what they were talking about. I could have offered something to the conversation, but I didn't. I didn't speak up. I knew I had a voice, but I was afraid to use it. Actually, that's when I decided to join Toastmasters. That prompted me. I thought, why are these men taking my ideas that I've said to them in a one-on-one conversation or in front of a coffee machine, and they present it in front of the boss at the weekly meeting? I'm good. Just because I stayed silent. I decided that wasn't going to happen. But then I got promoted, and I started working on a computer helpline. Computer helpline, how may I help you? Now, my pleasant voice was often not returned to me. I had people shouting and screaming and aggressive and yelling, I've lost my entire month's work. I pressed one button and everything is gone. How do I get it back? How do you get it back? Well, in the meantime, I guess you all have learned the word backup. We learn by experience. We learn by our mistakes. But there were other things you wouldn't believe. Let me tell you a story about one man who called and he said, you've got to help me. I've just sent an email to my boss. And I said, well, that's normal to communicate with your boss. And he said, no, Maria Teresa, you don't understand. I put things in the email that will come back to haunt me. So I started questioning, what kind of things, sir? Well, I basically trashed him in the email. I told another colleague what a bad boss he was. But to make things worse, I started relating stories about all the female employees he was sleeping with. And I even mentioned the hotel where they went on certain days of the week. how am I ever going to get this email message back? Well, I had to tell the gentleman, had you told me at the beginning, how do I recover an email? I could have given you a solution, but I'm afraid you've expanded too much on your problem. I can't help you now. It was frustrating for me, but I'm sure it's more frustrating for him. And I don't want to know the consequences with all these juicy things he had put into the email. Then there was a Friday afternoon in the summer. We were having a beautiful rain, and at one point, thunder. Click! And everything went down. That computer helpline was ringing off the hook. Computer helpline, how may I help you? It went on and on and on and on. And the only thing I could say is we're working on the problem as quickly as possible. We are aware of the difficulties that we've experienced, but I'm afraid you're just going to have to wait. Now, when you're working on a computer, how many of you want to wait? Not at all. You want something to happen like that. I progressed. I became a computer trainer. And the one thing I learned about being a computer trainer is that you never stop learning. It seems like you were constantly trying to keep up with upgrades and new software and operating systems. It was never ending. Lots of things about computers are not necessarily good. So I posed the question, technology, love it? Technology, hate it? I might be ambivalent, but I guess maybe I should end on a positive note saying, without technology, I wouldn't be able to talk to you today. And this shy young woman who was afraid to speak in a group of 7 is now talking to over 100 people at a district conference. Computers have come a long way, but so have I. Mr. Contest Chair.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, and for this listening of this recording. That's a first for me. It was a reset in my experience at Toastmaster over the last 4 years. Great to hear that. And what I propose is I invite everyone to use technology, that you like it or you hate it, to give a feedback to Toastmaster Maria Teresa in the chat functionality. And we have 1 minute for that. And Eshan, you can start the timing.
You're muted.
Thank you, Toastmaster Julia, because the others might have let me doing this for 5 minutes. And you really saved me on this one. So,
you're welcome.
Thank you for that. So we concluded the first part of our meeting, of our tradition meeting, with the prepared speeches, as now we're moving to the second part of our meeting, which is the table topic or impromptu speeches. And Toastmaster Gabriela will be leading us into this second part on the topic master. And I'll hand it over to Toastmaster Gabriela. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tristan, fellow Toastmaster and distinguished guests. So last week, Monday, I woke up to the news that Mexico had won Miss Universe. And actually, I had forgotten that these things existed, but I was curious. So I decided to search for the video. And funny enough, the first video that came on the search was not the crowning moment, but it was the question and answer of the top 5 finalists. As I was watching the video, I had to say I was a little bit disappointed of the answers of some of the top 5 finalists. And I kept thinking, I'm sure that my fellow Toastmasters could have better answers. So for today's session, I have prepared questions that are inspired by Miss Universe or Mr. Universe. For Miss Universe, I have 8 questions. For Mr. Universe, I have 5. And I will ask you to please select a number and I will read the question related to that number. So let's all pretend you are one of the top 5 finalists of Miss Universe or Mr. Universe. So, Toastmaster Julia, can you please pick a number?
A number from 1 to 5?
From 1 to 8.
1 to 8, okay, a big 6.
6. What is the most important thing we should be teaching young girls today?
Wow. Okay. Thank you for your question, Judge. I'm so proud to be here today in this competition and to be able to represent women worldwide. As I believe I would teach my children and my girls. I believe in the word of feminism and what it means. I believe nowadays the concept has been so interchanged, but so many waves of what it's defined throughout the years that we have lost what's the concept of femininity. And right now, many feminists would, in their own way, perhaps judge me for competing, for being the most beautiful woman worldwide. But perhaps we have lost track of what is per se feminine. Is it okay to be soft and gentle? Is it okay to be beautiful and be actually proud of it? Or is it okay as well not to have to conform to the realities or to the expectations of beauty for so many different countries in so many different ways? I believe to the girls nowadays growing up in a world of social media, of comparing themselves with all these standards of beauty, it's hard for them to accept in some ways what's their own meaning of femininity and what it means to them. So as a mother and as an aunt and as a model, I would actually teach them to be okay with their body, to be okay with what their own definition of femininity, and to find to themselves what is it that they feel comfortable with their own gender. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Julia, for that great answer. So let's move on to the next top finalist. Toastmaster Ines, can you please select a number 1 to 8? 6 is taken.
I would take fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and Madame Table Topics Master, I would take number 3.
Number 3, thank you. In many countries, women are still considered incapable of being world leaders. Convince these countries that they are wrong.
Madame Table Topics Master, again, fellow Toastmasters. I think we're living also as world leaders, also as female world leaders, we are living in a special time. And in fact, I would like to go to the reset also in the time we are having. And I see that COVID has taught us many lessons, has taught me very important lessons. We have been working internationally and we see what's happening. And I see that COVID-19 is giving us an opening for the Great Reset. A great reset in the relationships we have with each other, the relationships we have with countries, in a working environment, in the family, you name it. There is no separation. And I see that the reset should go in the direction of more togetherness. How do we see each other? How do we see each other in countries? The political relationships. We see it's not working in the Middle East. We have seen it the last couple of weeks. So the Great Reset will not really be the Great Reset in terms of economic development, which the world is eyeing at the moment, but the Great Reset will go in the direction of let's examine how we feel about each other, how we feel about the power plays we are having at the moment in the world, and let's establish our very honest motivations vis-à-vis each other. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ines, for that amazing answer. Now let's move on to another Miss Universe, Toastmaster Karen. Can you please select a number 1 to 8, 6 and 3 were taken.
Yes, I will select number 7, please.
Number 7. Are leaders of today doing enough to protect future generations from climate change? If not, what more should they be doing?
Thank you very much for your question. I would like to reformulate it, and I would like to ask to ourselves, what should we be doing? Because the big problems of this world, of our world, we're not going to solve it blaming each other and demanding from other people what should they be doing for us? How should they lead the way? I think we all should take our own responsibility, the responsibility that we have as human beings in this world, in nature, and take single and simple actions towards preserving it. I would say start at your own place, at your own house, with your own family, with your kids, educating them on how to preserve the environment, how to save light, how to not waste food. I think the question should be towards what should we be doing and not what others should be saying us to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karen, for that amazing answer as well. I think it's time to move on to Mr. Universe. Toastmaster Tom, can you please select a question 1 to 5?
3, please. 3.
3. What do you wish will be socially acceptable for men to do that is currently not considered manly?
Well, it is quite amazing in this universe what is expected to be manly and what is not. And for instance, if I tell you that I love this fantastic creature here, you will tell me it's not manly. But why is it? So basically, I would say it is important to open up all our prejudice and all our preformed opinions on role models that we developed, and just to look at the person itself. It doesn't matter whether one is male or female. One can just have, well, some reasonable opinions or not reasonable ones. One can have good taste or bad taste. You can argue that it's bad taste to like this one, but still, I would not point it down or pin it on gender. I think this idea of gender and certain features that come with it is obsolete in a time like now. And I hope that this opinion will prevail. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tom. Great answer as well. And I think we have time for one more of Mr. Universe. Toastmaster Isan. Can you please select a question 1 to 5? 3 is taken.
Fellow Toastmasters, honorary guests, I will choose 1 if it's not taken.
Great. And this is a question, I did not make up these questions. These are really, I look for them on Miss and Mr. Universe. Do you think being handsome will get you far in life?
Sorry, because I was just starting the time for myself. Sorry, could you repeat?
Yes. Do you think being handsome will get you far in life?
So to be honest, if I want to answer to this question, definitely we should say no, but truly it's being handsome can change some, let's say, relations, or also, let's say, stereotypes. So if the people are handsome, in the first sight, they change, let's say, how the people they look to them, because the people, the first thing that they see, this is appearance. And after that, when the people start talking or they say about their mindset, maybe the idea will be changed. So the being handsome is not the first, let's say, goal, but having a handsome mindset is most important. I give the floor back to the.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Isan. Amazing answer as well. I think with that, I have more questions, but I don't think we have more time. So I'll return the control to Toastmaster Tristan. Thank you very much.
I thank the Miss Universe from Mexico for her speech today, or for her table topic today. So well done, interesting concept. Was very well. So let's move toward the third and last phase of our meeting, which is the evaluation, getting feedback. And for that, I will turn to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Monica, to run this part of our sessions. Over to you, Monica.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of today.
Just a sec.
So, please go, yeah.
We should ask people to vote. And
definitely, yes.
Gabriela, maybe you want to list again the name of your speakers, and we'll ask everybody to use the chat functionality to vote. And the ballot counter is... I
am the ballot counter.
You're the ballot counter?
Yes.
And send a private message to Monica as the ballot counter. So Gabriela, the list of the...
Yes, so thank you for the reminder. The first speaker was Julia, then we had Toastmaster Ines, then Toastmaster Karen, then Toastmaster Tom, and finally Toastmaster Isan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And apologies for that. And now I turn back to Toastmaster Monica to run the evaluation session. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of today. So now we start with the evaluation session, the most, in my opinion, one of the most important part of the sessions, because here is where we grow, where we get feedback. As I said before, I'm not doing this alone, so I would like to ask my team to please come up with their reports. And I will start with the grammarian, Toastmaster Suman. Could you please provide us your report?
Monica, wouldn't you want to start with the evaluation of the speeches?
Yes, you're totally right. So I would like to ask the first evaluator, who is Toastmaster Melanie, to please provide us her report.
Thank you, Monica, our general evaluator. And to start off, to evaluate Gordana, I'm her mentor, like I said, and she wanted me to be tough on her. And she was so nervous. And I have to tell you, Gordana, I didn't notice at all that you were nervous. I could just tell you that you started off in such a positive way with the personal touch, thanking your friend. I thought that was a wonderful beginning. It broke the ice for us and let us see that you were happy to see a familiar face on the screen in your audience, that you maybe kept eye contact with her and her energy relaxed you. So I could see that you put a lot of emotion into your speech. You were using your hands, you were commenting on time. And I really liked how you mentioned how it started out, what you had going for you in your life, that you were already working, that you had a great relationship with your supervisor. And against those odds, I mean, it really fits in with your title. You went in to say that you were taking a risk. You were getting out of that comfort zone and going back to school, coming to Austria, having to take loans. And you even mentioned your age, which to me, I mean, age is just a number. So I really did like that personal touch. The only things I notice is when we get nervous, and you're almost a native speaker, so to say, because you lived in the States for quite a while, you tend to use a little bit, and that's a typical American thing. You said, and I'm sure the grammarian's going to pick this up anyway, but as someone that's looking objectively at your speech, you said I was kind of excited. Just say I was excited and stay away from the and the ums were just more than you need to, because you know what you're saying. You're speaking from your heart. This is your topic. This is about your life. And we're really interested in how you got here, what your story is. So ending, you added the question to all of us. I thought that was a really nice closure. I think it's great when we do that, because we as the audience, we're challenged to stop and think about, hey, can I be doing something else in my life? Should I go back to school? Should I take that course even though I think I'm too old? And taking a risk in life. So for your first speech, number one, well done. Number two, nothing to be nervous about. And number three, I'm looking forward to your next speech. Thank you. Back over to you, General Evaluator Monica.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Melanie. So I would like to call now the second evaluator, who is Toastmaster Nicole, and will be evaluating Toastmaster Maria Teresa. Please go ahead, Toastmaster Nicole.
Sorry, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So today it is for me both a privilege and a challenge to evaluate, because I'm evaluating one of the most senior and the most experienced Toastmasters of our club. It's a challenge for her too, because she has to make a total reset. Although an experienced Toastmaster, she has to start anew in pathways. So it's a challenge both for her and for me. She asked to be evaluated on structure and flow, and that's what I'm going to try and do today. As far as the structure is concerned, for me, the positive points was that Maria Teresa, you had different parts that were clear. You had also clear examples, and examples are always very good. And your conclusion was with a question and a positive answer, then we can go away with. And I think this is very good indeed. Now, your title was Technology, either you love it or you hate it. And somehow I had expected that you were going to tell us far more about your attitude towards technology. The first part, for instance, on this man environment was, in my view, not really necessary. And in my view, I think it could have been replaced by a part on your own feelings, your own experience with technology. Now, as far as flow is concerned, that's where we see the very experienced Toastmaster, because you had very good vocal variety, you had perfect clarity, you had a very good rhythm, all elements that we expect from an experienced Toastmaster. But concerning, for instance, comfort level, Maria Teresa, how was I supposed to evaluate that? What I saw was a screen, a big part of the screen with lines that were uninteresting. And what I saw was at the bottom, a very little picture of you smoking a cigarette and being a witness to what you were delivering. You were a spectator to your own speech. And for me, that was a real pity. I was very disappointed there because I expected to hear you, to listen to you, to see you, and not to hear a speech that was delivered sometime in the past. So my recommendation would be that as far as structure is concerned, you try and really pay attention to the title so that it corresponds to what comes afterwards. But most importantly, above all, that you deliver a speech yourself and you do not have a recording of your speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nicole, for this excellent evaluation. And now that I reset myself and announced my 2 evaluators, I will continue with the rest of my team to provide their evaluations. And I would like to call our grammarian, Toastmaster Suman, to please provide her evaluation.
Thank you, Ms. General Evaluator. And well,
Miss, please.
All right, Madam, yes. Yeah, so here are the evaluation from the grammar point of view. I would like to congratulate everybody to be so clear, precise in everything you spoke, and there was nothing wrong that I could come up with in the grammar part. It was really flawless. For the good part, I would like to, the good usage, I would like to highlight some great words that were used today, listed here. Against all the odds, the title itself and the feeling that it brings, it's really nice. And it continued a restoring moment. I had a voice, and also funny enough. So that is also a very nice way of explaining yourself. Everything, yeah, these things I could collect. Also, the word of the day was very well used. I think 4. Thanks everybody to incorporate it. Tristan, Ines, Nicole, and also Monica. So thank you for participating so well. I would like to also give the jewel, like the crown of the day for the great usage of English. I would like to give the crown to Gordana. Really nice, great words used, and very thought-provoking, complete message. So thank you. And I would like to give back the floor to Monica.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Suman. Now our ballot counter. No, perhaps I will do that at the end of the meeting. Our timekeeper, Toastmaster Essen, could you please give us your report?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So I will just make a short report on the timing today. In the speech, Gordana made 6 minutes and 21 seconds of a speech. And then we had 1 minute of voting for her. Then Maria Teresa made 5 minutes, 34 seconds on her speech. And again, 1 minute voting we had for Maria Teresa. In the table topic, Yulia had 1 minute 59 seconds. Ines had 1 minute 54 seconds. Karen 50 seconds. Tumas 58 seconds. And Ehsan had 2 minutes 1 second. So the longest speech was from Ehsan, and the shortest was from Karen in the table topics. And evaluation for the evaluating part, Melanie had 2 minutes 20 seconds of evaluation time, and Nicole 3 minutes 20 seconds. Thank you, Florenti.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Essen. Now, Toastmaster Karen, with the R counter today, could you please give us your report?
Of course, Madam General Evaluator, I'll mention the number of times that you used crutches while speaking, indistinctly of which ones you used. So Nicole, 2, Gordana 13, Monica 3, Tristan 7, Gabriela 4, Suman 4, and Essen 7. And I would like to congratulate Ines, Maria Teresa, and Tom, because while you were speaking, I couldn't notice any crutch. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Karen. Toastmaster Tristan, shall I provide my report as ballot counter now, or do you want it to be mentioned at the end?
I would like first that you give your report on the meeting.
Okay, and then the ballot results. Okay, so my report, yeah, I can say that we started on time. Actually, the election of the new committee was very short, very time. So I think we're going to finish on time as well, because it's in 2 minutes, it's 1:30. So more or less, we're going to be on time as well. The energy of the meeting was very positive. I liked it very much. The guests were welcome. They were not engaged to participate this time because I think we had the time very limited. I liked the tabletop topics very much. Gabriela was very original and engaged us a lot with that. I like that 90% of the rules were accepted on time in Easy Speak. There was only one rule, the Toastmaster of the day, that was not taken on time, but I like the spontaneity of our president, Toastmaster Tristan, that immediately jumped in and took the role. I also have to say that I liked it very much that we had some guests and some former Toastmaster, like Toastmaster Otto, who was present again. I don't know if you know Toastmaster Otto, but he's a very experienced Toastmaster. I think he was one of the founders of the club, VIC club. I mean, he's been for, not really, but almost, I would say, because he has so much experience. And I'm sure he was for more than 10 or 20 years part of the Toastmasters club. So I liked it very much that he was again joining our meetings. So all in all, it was a great meeting. And now I'm very happy to provide the results of the ballot counting. Toastmaster Essen mentioned that Toastmaster Karen was the one who responded in the shortest time, but actually she was the one who won the competition. So please help me, join me in congratulating Toastmaster Karen. And back to you, Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica, for your evaluation. Well done to the team for the speeches, for the table topics. And now we have a crown placed on Miss Karen for her success. And she didn't say that she was looking for world peace. Usually that's the thing you say if you go to a mess, you say, what do you want? I want world peace. So that was well done. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Before I close, I would like to invite a couple of guests just to share their views on the meeting. And I will start with the ORF journalist, Daniela, to give us news reports on this meeting and her first experience maybe on a Toastmaster meeting. Over to you, Daniela.
Hi, thank you. It was my first listening to a Toastmaster meeting and I had no idea what to expect. So I have to say it was really inspiring. Thank you for having me. I like that everything is very organized. Everybody knows his role. And so I think it makes it easier for the people to actually have to deliver a speech. So that was great. And the speeches, congratulations to the speakers. They were both very, very personal stories and very inspiring. And I really did like that. And also the feedback, I think that's you give the feedback very respectful, and it was very informative. The second part, I think, is really scary, having to talk about a subject you don't know in a different role. So wow, respect to everybody. I think that's maybe the hardest part of it. And yeah, all in all, I really did enjoy it and would love to listen again. So thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much, Daniela, for your thoughts. And you talk spontaneously about the meeting. And it was very...
I like...
didn't say that, but it was very smooth. So well done on you. And we'll turn over now to David. Do you have notes, David?
Yes, dear Toastmaster of the day, dear Toastmasters and honored guests. I'd like to conclude this meeting by addressing 3 points I took note. The first one, I really like the topics as well as the title of the prepared speeches. So congratulations to both of you. I also like the spontaneity and the originality of the spontaneous presentations. Congratulations, Karen, for your spontaneous speech. And with that note, I also would like to announce that I will be attending the next Toastmasters meeting as a member. Thank you very much. And I give the floor back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Tristan.
Thank you, David, for this joining us this meeting, your feedback, and learning that you will join us very soon. So one call of action for you: don't wait too long and go for your first speech. You know, sometimes we have all a tendency to say, well, maybe not next time, maybe the time after. And then we push, and then suddenly 3 months pass and you haven't done it. So don't hesitate, and we would be very interested to listen to you. On that note, I would like, if nobody has got anything else to say, I would like to thank you all to have attended this meeting today. It was great to see so many of you, some faces that we hadn't seen for a while. So it was a great pleasure to have all of you. Remain safe, stay safe and healthy, and look forward to see you soon at our next meeting early June. So on that note, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.